Hi, I'm Gabe.
I'm Kat.
And we're the Ghouls next door. Put your mic closer to
you. No, you.
Talk to the mic, because if you didn't know, this is a podcast.
I must say words to it.
Yeah, people aren't going to know.
Do you hear it now?
Mm-hmm.
You hear my voice and words.
Yes.
Okay.
This is all they have to rely upon. Alright, so today's episode is number 4.
Woo!
So we made it to 4. I don't know if there's an anniversary for that.
I don't know either.
Is it like paper? And
we didn't give up on things really easily and quickly. Woo!
We did it! It was very easy to do. We almost did that. We're going to talk about witches today. So we have like our own personal witch stories, as is the way. We're going to talk about the truth behind the Blair Witch Project. So stick around for the truth about a very old film that no one even really gives a shit about anymore. But
didn't like it the first time.
No
we're still
one
going to talk about it.
Still no one likes it, but guess what? We're going to tell you some shit about it. And we'll talk about real life witches. I don't want to get too much into it because
we don't want to be cursed.
Yeah, yes. And we also don't want to be insensitive because there are people who identify as witches.
Yeah. And
we kind of tread some sensitive ground with clowns previously.
Yeah.
I feel like with ghosts, it was kind of like, what are they going to do?
It's not like
they're not going to find us.
Come find us.
Yeah.
But like, witches and clowns.
Yeah. We're going to die by like all the people who inhabit
a really
these
interesting
roles.
Array of like scary shit that's going to go down.
Come after us.
It's going to be like that American Horror Story episode,
Yeah.
But like also witches are there.
Yeah. It'll just be like the one time we do like Babadook and it's like any boogeyman just comes after us.
It's just, we have a long list of people who we've offended unintentionally.
Oh my god.
And they're all really scary. Like, it's not like, it's like normal people.
Yeah, this is episode 4.
It's not like some Republicans or like something like that.
That's a whole different
That's a whole different
story.
thing. This is like witches.
We'll address that on American Horror Story episode. Yeah, I think that's pretty much... Oh, we also watched The Witch.
Yeah.
Which I find terrifying, and Kat didn't at all, because she doesn't have a soul or whatever.
I don't know why, it just didn't really bother me at all, and I was just like, why is everyone scared? There's stuff happening.
That's usually how movies work.
I just wasn't freaked out. It just wasn't.
It
wasn't scary at all to me, and then like you and Mervyn were sitting there like, ah! And I was just like, okay, she's dead now. It's just a thing that happened.
But I wanted to start with our personal witch stories, and I know, Kat, you have some pretty intimate stories to tell of your youth as a witch.
It's not real weird, but
it's not gross.
Yeah.
It's as in personal.
Yeah.
As in of yourself.
Yeah.
Original.
Well, in case any of y'all could not tell from how I turned out as an adult, I was a weird as fuck kid. I was a really weird kid. I had a lot of weird things going on. I was very strange. But I want to say, like, once I got to, like, 4th, 5th grade, I kind of, like, given up on, like, trying to fit in with anyone.
Would you say that was peak strange?
Yeah. No, for sure. I was very weird for a long time, but I want to say 4th, 5th grade, I was kind of, like, batshit. Like, as just a person, and then, like, socially.
And it's just plateaued from there. You're just keeping a consistent creep level as you've aged.
Just never change. You never change. My hands stopped growing. I stopped not being creepy. Yeah.
Your hands stopped growing?
Yeah, no, my hands are the same size as they were in 5th grade. So, like, but, like, in, like, 4th, 5th grade, I, like, started to, like, have some friends. And they're kind of mean. But I remember, like, when I was all angry about the fact everyone was mean to me, I was just like, I'm going to be scary. And then they won't be mean to me anymore. Because I'll be scary.
It's like a defense tactic?
Yeah. And I was like, I'm a witch.
Because that was scary to you.
And, like, you know, because, like, so, like, my understanding of witches was, like, it was, like, a demonic thing. Like, when I was younger, like, that's always what it was, like, told to me as, like, when you're a witch, you talk to the devil, and you're using, like, devil's magic and, like, evil things.
Yes. You were, what is it, like, consorting with the devil? Is that a word? Or did I make that up?
I'm just gonna say that's what it was. I'm like, I didn't really know anything about witches. It's not like I had done any research whatsoever. I maybe Googled it once, or what was it, Bing? Well, yeah, I asked Jeeves that shit. It was like, what do witches do? Or maybe I even went to the, like, library, because, like, that was a thing that you did with, like, books. Instead of, like, But, like, not a lot.
But you didn't pick up, like, the wrong book. Like, you didn't pick up, like, Satan's book and write in
Yeah, I didn't
name
actually
and blood
find,
or...
like, yeah, I didn't, like, start
That's
my
not at
connection.
your local library?
No, I don't think so.
No.
So, yeah, I remember just being, like, whenever anyone would be mean to me, it's just like, yeah, I talked to the devil, so, like, if you don't stop fucking with me, he's gonna eat your soul. Like, that shit that I would say as a 4th grader. You know.
I believe you.
It's the thing I did.
I mean,
you can ask anyone.
honestly,
There are people who are genuinely scared of me because that's the shit that I would say to them.
If a fellow 4th grader came up to me and said that shit, I would definitely have believed them. And I probably would have tried to save their soul.
Oh no!
In 4th grade, I wanted to be a nun.
So that was never a concern of mine.
Yeah, no, I wanted to be a nun in 4th grade, so...
Oh, wow.
I definitely would have been like, but Jesus is so nice and I love him and I want to marry him.
I'd be like, as a Jew, I don't believe that Jesus was my savior.
Well, then how do you even know about Satan? There's Satan in Judaism?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, what kind of things would you, like,
I don't fucking know.
threaten? Like, what would someone do to you and what would be your response as a witch?
Well, no, it's, okay, so I think I, like, watched a movie or something and... It was like when someone's bullying you, you just act really crazy and then they leave you alone. Like, that was my tactic. I was just like, someone would come up to me like, why do you look like that? And I'd be like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, I wouldn't say that, but I would say, like, you know, when I go home, I'm gonna, like, curse you with my witch book and shit. Or, like, I'm gonna go tell the devil that you're being a dick. And he's gonna eat your dick.
Oh, no.
I was scary.
PG threats.
I was definitely scary.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit.
Just, I mean, mentioning the devil is pretty scary.
Yeah, and especially, like, not that I think Abington, Pennsylvania is especially religious in any way, but there are probably some kids there who were like, oh my god, I go to church, and this girl's talking about the devil, and she's evil, and I'm not gonna go near her anymore. And I was like, mission accomplished. I have no friends, this is great, don't talk to me, because I have succeeded in making everyone go away, because they're mean.
It's funny that your tactic is to, like, act crazy, because that's a tactic that my mom says to use if you think you're being followed.
Yeah.
She says, like, just go nuts and just, like make a fool of yourself and run zigzag.
Because then they'll be like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's the attention, and then it's like, oh, no, now I can't abduct this child because she's fucking nutso. Or whatever she thought it was. But so it's like, that also works for bullies. Or just shit kids.
And it was like another thing where it's like, I did have like a few friends and they thought it was cool. So like, we like formed a club where we were all witches. And we just like pretended we were witches. And we wrote spells down and stuff. And we would just hang out at recess and be like, let's make spells. And we like say spells and shit. Like, in like the schoolyard. And I, like, brought them to my grandpa's house, and I remember this pretty vividly, because they didn't believe me. There was a point where, like, they were like, you're not a witch. Mm-hmm. Like, cut this shit out. And I was like, you wait, ladies. They all came over to my grandpa's house, and he's like, his house was, like, really creepy. I mean, I've told you about it. And he created
where the dead bed is.
Libraries all over the house, because he loved books. And he had a bunch of really old books. So, like, before they came over, I, like, went and, like, tried to find, like, a book about witches or whatever, like, something creepy. Or, like, even went to the library, like, totally was manipulative. Went to the library and got, like, a book about witches, like, put it in his study. Yeah. So then, like, when we went over, we, like, went in to, like, look for my witch book. Was the book that I read. Yeah. That, like, had all my spells in it. We, like, went in, and I pulled it out, and I was like, yeah, this is where I learned all my stuff. I'm a real witch. Fuck you. Yeah. And they were like, it's real. We're all witches now. And I was like, yeah, that's what we are. I've started this. I have spread the devil's will. It was, like, fun I was like, people think I'm cool. I was just like, yeah, look at me.
Well, it started as a deterrent and turned into, now you have friends that are equally as nuts.
So yeah, that was my thing. I didn't actually do anything awful. No one got hurt. No one died.
That's good.
There weren't any spells, and I didn't actually sign a covenant with the devil.
I mean, if you were in a 80s horror movie, there would have been a lot of death. Yeah. If you were in a horror movie today, that premise would definitely have ended in someone accidentally being dead. Yeah. Or possibly awakening the actual devil.
I normaled out around 7th grade, I want to say.
You gave up your witchy ways?
Yeah. I was just, like, not as crazy.
You weren't as bewitching?
Yeah, I wasn't as bewitched.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, I'm just older now. Okay.
So when you you stopped before you could become a teenage witch?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's when things escalate.
Yeah, 7th grade is for sure when I was done with that, but I honestly want to say, like, 5th grade is when I was like, well, this is a lot of work to maintain this, like, idea that I'm a witch.
They're, like, fact-checking you.
I gave up. I, like, the devil gave me my soul back. Like, it's fine. We, like, talked. We're good. Like, it was a mutual breakup.
Yeah, he understood. He was like, yeah, I get it, kid. Like, you just used me. You needed me for a minute.
Yeah. He was like, we have nothing in common. You can go on your way.
But he was, like, really nice. He was like, if you ever want to come back, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I have my book. You can write it in blood.
Yeah.
I'll give you whatever you want.
My man,
diamonds, whatever. Yeah. Just dance for me naked in the woods.
I didn't do any of that.
After curfew.
I just want to say, I did very little research into actually being a witch, though, when I was very convinced that I might be a witch. Like, it was just really fun.
Okay.
And it made people just be nicer to me, and that was cool.
I mean, maybe that was a spell.
Yeah, maybe that's what I did. I was just like, I really want friends, and then I had some friends, and that was cool. And I was like, thanks, devil. That was awesome.
Or maybe that was God, and he was like...
He's just like, I really
get
just
this
need
kid
you to
friends
stop.
so she can start to get her shit
stop
together.
doing this. Because, like, she'll be okay. She's just gotta make it through this, like, rough patch.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you.
So maybe,
Jesus was there for you.
Oh my
I knew
God.
that. Little Gabe knew.
No.
She sent the vibes to you.
No.
You didn't know. The only witch kind of story I have from childhood isn't my own, in only the way that, like, when you want to be like your older sister, it's your own. So, like, my older sister, Sam, we shared a room together, and she was very creative. And she was kind of, like, grunge and kind of, like, too cool for school. And she would do this thing. She always just loved to do weird art projects. But I don't know when it came up, but it just happened. I remember there was just... She would take Sobe bottles, so the drink Sobe, and she would drink them, whatever, and then she would take them and she would make potions in them. But they weren't, like, real potions. It would be, like, she would essentially put, like, food coloring or, like, weird plants or objects or whatever. She'd put that in there, and it would be labeled, and she'd paint on them, like, witch's brew or, like, some clever, like, name. Yeah. And she had so many of them because she would just come up with...
So fun.
Yeah.
Can we just do that as adults?
Yeah, we totally can. And there was one, I remember, it was like, this is like one of the shining moments. This is like the young sister where, I impressed my older sister. And then I came up to her and I had a Sobe bottle and I was like, I made one. And she was like, what is it? And I was like, it's fairy dust. That's the potion. And it was like, it wasn't, I don't even think it was a Sobe bottle. And then it was just like glitter. In water. Yeah. Like, you would shake it. It was just like a low-grade snow globe without anything in it.
It was like a sensory.
But I was like, it's fairy dust. And she's like, wow, that's, like, so, like, inventive, and you did it. I never thought of that before. And it was, like, the highlight of, like, my year. Where I was like, oh, Sam liked it. Like, Sam knew it, and she made her weird potions. We can all be in the forest. We can all live together.
It'd be so nice. Kat will join us. I don't know her yet, but, like,
she'll be there. We'll get there. And it was like, I mean, Sam, I don't, like, because, like I said before, we all grew up very religious. But I do remember her being a little weird. And I think they definitely talked about the idea of being witches. But I think Sam had, like, spell books, and she would draw, and she'd have all kinds of stuff with her and her, like, weird friend. But yeah, Sam was just a little weird. And it was, like, around the time when, like, The Craft... I don't know if you ever saw that, but that's like it's almost similar to what you're saying, where it's just like a group of girls who are going to be witches to kind of get back at people who treat them shitty. Yeah. But it's kind of, and it's kind of finding that unity in that, like, we're all outsiders and we need to feel validated and we need to feel powerful, and we can do that together, and this is like the outlet for that. Yeah. And that's kind of like, I feel like The Craft is, and why it's a cult classic. But then also, like, I think that's kind of what some witch things were in history, too. Like, I think with, like, the Salem witch trials. Yeah. Like, that definitely, I feel like one girl started it, Winona Ryder's character. Yeah. In The Crucible.
Yeah, Winona Ryder, when she was back then.
Back then.
She went back in time.
1600s. And she, that character... And how, she got the other girls to kind of go along with it. It's like, they were repressed, and, like, they couldn't dance, and they couldn't sing, and they couldn't be happy, and they had to go off and marry old men and be Quakers and not, like, get to live fulfilling lives, and they're teenage girls, so of course they want to sneak out and do the rebellious thing, and that was their way to do it, and that was their outlet, and it spiraled out and became something else.
Real fucked up that, like, if you weren't, like, just a submissive nothing person, that you were a witch and they just killed you. Like, oh my god, you have a personality, witch, you die now.
Yes.
It's so fucked up. Yeah. I would have been dead. They would have been like, witch.
Oh, yeah.
I was such a weird little kid. I would have definitely been a witch. They would have been like, nah, she's crazy. The weirdest things I did as, like, a little kid, I was like, let's play family, and I'll be Pikachu. Like, that was what I did. Yeah.
That's not how the family works.
All, like, my friends would be like, I want to be the mom. I want to be the sister. I'd be like, I'll be Pikachu. And I was like, that's normal.
I was always the mom.
Yeah. No, I never wanted to be the mom. I didn't want to be any of that shit. I was like, you let me be Pikachu. And where's that, man?
It was always the
But
mom.
if I can't, and they'd be like, you could be the sister. I'd be like, I don't want to be the sister. I want to be fucking Pikachu. I had one request.
In
one
our family
request.
that exists, our nuclear American family.
Oh, yo, there's
you
another
have
time.
a husband, a wife, 2 kids, and a Pikachu.
Yeah, everyone has that.
I mean, an active imagination. I was always the mom, even when if I was the younger kid. I was still the mom. It was just, that's the role I want. And I'd run the shit. I'd be like, this is how I run my house. You're gonna do what I say.
Fucking cool she did. I so see it. I so, like, see little Gabe being like, this is my house.
Yeah, clean your room. And I was always really manipulative because I use playing house and family to get close to boys, too. Yeah. Like, this is how the boy is gonna have to be the dad, and he's my boyfriend now. It's like, you're like 10, what are you doing? That's not how that works. I'm like, you're gonna be dad. I wanted to be Pikachu. Well, you're the dad now, and we're married. So do what I say.
So that's what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a game. We're just playing a game, real. But you're really my boyfriend. This game never ends. Black Phillip is the goat. He is my dad. And he's the devil. He doesn't really give us anything. Black Phillip. Black Phillip. That's my dad. And offered sister and everyone. Black Phillip is with you. Black Phillip is with you and with you. And also with you. And also with you. Dear Lord Black Phillip. Please give us dresses, murder my father, and orgasm my brother to death. Why don't we talk about some history about witches, kind of, you know, what's up with them, what are they about? And again, just disclaimer, like, we have very basic knowledge. We have the internet.
Experts are literally on historychannel.com.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there are more historical accuracies or real witches out there who have a story, and feel free to email us those stories. We'd love to hear them. You can email us at theGhoulsNextDoor@gmail.com or tweet at us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool.
Or
do we get emails?
Only from, like, podcast subscription service. Also, you can tweet at us. We have a Twitter that I am really bad at using, but it's there. It's the Ghouls It's Ghouls Next Door, but no E, so it's GHOULSNXTDOOR, because some bitch took Ghouls Next Door, but they didn't even use it.
It's just empty, wasted space.
Yeah. And there's no other thing that exists called the Ghouls Next Door, so if someone can enlighten me on how to steal that from that hoe, let me know. But
I'm not gonna buy
if
it.
You
but,
have,
if you want to gift
listen,
it.
witches on the DL. If you have a curse or some kind of loopy spell that you can tell us so that we can curse those bitches and get that elite friggin' Twitter handle, let me know.
Or just, like, hack them.
I need it. Alright, so Catherine, do your thing.
Bet you didn't know witches is what this website says. Get the real story behind witches, their hats, and why they're said to ride on brooms.
Okay, just give us a nice summary.
Your
I don't want you to read us this whole thing.
You're on the edge of your seat.
I'm on the edge of my broom.
To know about these witches.
These witches ride this.
So, basically, it's, like, going about kind of like my understanding of witches from when I was little. It's like, oh, they're evil. They're usually, like, ugly, wart-nosed women. It's like their, like, history is being described. Huddling over, like, a cauldron. they call them, like, hag faces, cackling and riding through the sky on brooms, wearing pointy hats. So, like, honestly...
So rude.
Just saying, though, like, back to what you were saying before, in reference to, like, not feeling like they belong, like, I would totally believe that, like, women back in the day, like, weren't the pretty ones, weren't those mean girls, like...
Yeah.
Didn't belong, weren't getting, like, what they wanted in life, because they had to be submissive, but they were fucking smart, and, like, you know,
probably,
nerdy
like,
and stuff
lower
like
class.
us. Lower class, and, like, you know, probably was, like,
working women.
Dreams and shit.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you know what? Fuck
You're
it.
a witch,
I'm not gonna be
ugly.
pretty. I'm just gonna fucking do my thing and, like, fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Burn the pretty ones.
No, they burned the ugly ones.
What? No, I know. I'm talking about the witches burning people
okay.
in this scenario.
Oh, alright.
But, like, back then, if I was how I looked when I was younger, I look cool now, but, like, way back when, I would have been a fucking witch. I'd be, like, out in the fucking forest, like, I kill you, the devil and shit. I would have fucking done that. I did that as a 9-year-old.
Do you want to talk about, like, the Salem witch trials?
Well, yeah, I did learn a lot about the Salem witch trials, actually, in school. We had to do, like, a play and stuff like that. And
was it the Crucible?
Well, yeah, but we had to, like, make our own.
Oh.
Based on that.
Was it better than Arthur Miller? Or?
No, but I remember the Crucible, like, fucking me up. Like, I would have been like... Because there's, like, all these innocent women. It was just kind of, like, McCarthyism.
Yeah.
But the first one.
Yeah.
The first one that wasn't in...
Yeah. That's what McCarthyism and, like, what we have today is, like, that's what they are, witch hunts.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was.
Yeah. So it's just, like, regular fucking people. Like, sure, there's probably, like, the one girl who's, like, saying that shit because she was, like, miserable and wanted, like, all that shit to happen. Or whatever. They literally said the reason that they said women were witches is because they weren't subservient. And because they had, like, lust. So, like, adulterers and shit like that would be, like, witches. Or, like, anyone who just didn't fit the norm. They'd be like, yeah, you're a witch now, so we're gonna kill you. And there was just so much fear because they were like, oh, the devil is way worse than the plague, cholera, fucking other thing. Or they thought the devil caused that, or whatever. Like, there's just so much superstition, and there was so much stuff that they didn't understand.
Yeah, misunderstanding.
Like, there was no science, there was no logic, because none of that stuff was known yet. So anything that they could do to, like, point their finger to explain the weird things that would happen. So, like, babies dying, or, like, people going missing. It was always witches. It wasn't like, oh, a wolf got that person.
Yeah. It's not going to be anything practical.
Yeah, because they, like, that's somehow harder and worse to blame it on, like, a real thing that, like, they don't have control over, but instead, like, blame it on, like, a person who, like, they honestly, like, in the Salem witch trials, it was just people they didn't like.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't like that girl. She looked at me weird one time, so you're going to go kill her.
Or if it's like, if you knew that, you know, Mary Beth down the way is having an affair with your husband, what better way to get rid of that whore? And instead of just calling her out as a witch. And the thing with Salem witch trials is that it was kind of unique because there had been witch trials before that. There had been instances, and usually it is women pointing out other women, which is really shady, and that's just kind of like, it makes me feel like, with the new Handmaid's Tale, there's, but like the wife who has to, like, you know, deal with the maiden or whatever, but she was like, I believe women need to be subservient and that your role is to be a mom, and I don't want, like feminist is choosing to be at home and being the housewife and being subservient to your husband, and then you have, like, the women who are like, nah, like, that's not how it is. So there's that, but you kind of feel threatened by the presence of these free women, because it's like, you know, that's not allowed. I grew up, I can't be that way. And so there was, it usually was women pointing at other women, but with the Salem witch trials, it was crazy. It really skyrocketed and got way out of hand. Yeah. Because there's just people exacting revenge on their neighbors.
Yeah. It was, like, really scary. And it was very, like, I mean, obviously it was, like, the precursor to a lot of different, like, witch hunts throughout history. Like, that's the same shit that happened during World War II. with, like, the Nazis. Like, even if you weren't actually Jewish, they could say you were, and they would still investigate you, and you wouldn't find out till later that they were. Like, it was, like, shit like that, or, like, McCarthyism, where it's just like, I don't like that guy.
Yeah,
He's
you're
a communist.
Yeah, that's
Go get him. And, like, what got me is there's, like, numbers, and it says between the 1400s and, like, the 1660s, 80,000 people were put to death.
That's a lot of people
for being witches.
That time.
80,000? So, yeah. So it said, like, the hysteria kind of took place in the mid-1400s, and it was basically, like, people were accused of being witches for various reasons, similar to, like, what we've already said, but that, like, they would confess because they would torture them until they were like, yeah, I'll say anything to make this stop. So then, like, witch hunts became really common, and, like, they would burn them at the stake or hang them. But that between the 1500s and 1660, up to 80,000 suspected witches were put to death in Europe. Around 80% of them were women thought to be in cahoots with the devil and filled with lust.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also, like, in a little more closer to modern when, like, women would be, like, institutionalized. Or they were, like, you know, there's, like, the vibrator was literally invented by, like, therapists who were like, we are gonna pretty much, like, fuck it out of you. Like, if they gave a woman an orgasm, it was like you exorcise the demons from her. So it was like, or like getting
scary.
Yeah. So it was like them, like, taking advantage, and that's, like, how it's been throughout history the whole time. Like, if you enjoy sex or if you enjoy life and you're a woman who has an opinion and you're independent, then you're a threat.
The devil is in you. And, like,
that's the only way. And so I watched this documentary, I want to say on the History Channel, that was trying to understand the hysteria of the Salem witch trials. And one of the theories that I thought was kind of interesting was that there was supposedly, like, bad grain. So, like, they had their farms, and so some of the grain went bad, but it was made into bread anyway, and it caused people to hallucinate and actually trip, like, because they were eating this bread, and it was, like, these lower class people who, that's all they can afford is what they have at home. And so those girls, one would have that, like, dream or would see whatever they saw, and it was that hysteria, and then it would catch, like, wildfire. And everyone was seeing that. And, like, I remember in the Crucible, there's, like, I think it was Tituba is her name. She was, like, their slave. And so they blamed it on her because they were like, oh, she brought witchcraft and voodoo from wherever she was. But honestly, I think it was just, like, a group of girls went out to have fun. Like we said earlier, like, they banded together. They were young. They wanted to live. They went dancing naked in the woods. Or maybe they just didn't even do that. But they did bare minimum happiness in their fucking is Puritanism, because those are the ones that were like, you're not allowed to have any happiness because, like, you live in sin. It was like, you're born. Yeah, it's like you're born sinful and you're supposed to spend the rest of your life making up for the fact that you exist. Yeah. So of course these teenage girls are like, fuck that, I want to go and have fun, and they're gonna be together, and there's gonna be that one stronger one who bands them all together, and they got caught, and the best way to get out of it is to finger point. Yeah. Well, that's what they did.
Classic teenagers not knowing what the fuck they're doing.
Making a mess.
Your nose was itchy. The witches did it. They sent Black Phillip to itch your nose. And irk your soul.
Irk my soul?
Yeah.
Don't irk my soul.
They're all aiming to get you to dance naked in a field where there's a tree and you float above that. Here in the middle ground.
We float.
Because we're not up or down, we're just middle ground there. We float. We all float in the regular.
Alright, so.
What you got to say?
As teased in the intro.
Tease?
As teased.
Who's a tease? You or Heather?
We're both teases.
At least you own it. I don't think she can. She's dead.
She's dead. We have the answer to what the fuck the Blair Witch was about.
Yeah,
or potentially. It's a theory. A film theory, as stated by the YouTube channel Film Theory.
No, it's our thoughts.
No, you cannot take credit for this. I think it's like Reddit and that guy.
Don't you tell me I'm not an original. Don't you say those words to me again. I'm a one of a kind lady over here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. But the film person might have said this part.
He might have said
this is our version,
whole idea.
Yeah. It may have been 17 minutes long.
I think it was 15.
I couldn't watch it at work.
Yeah.
I remember you said it to me and I was like, Gabe, if it doesn't have subtitles and I can't read what it's saying without noise, then I can't do this at work right now. And it's 17 minutes. Why are you sending me videos that are 17 minutes?
Because I was watching it at work.
Well, I can't be that clever.
Work, don't listen. Work, you didn't hear that.
I don't ever go on Facebook while I'm at work. That never happens once.
Oh.
Never once.
But I talk to you and sometimes you're Oh, I mean, yeah.
That was a lie.
Okay.
But yeah, Blair Witch Project. You tell me about that. Film theory time.
Film theory on the Blair Witch Project. And in summation, there isn't a witch.
Yeah.
So the title's a lie.
Story.
It's not the Blair Witch Project, it's the Blair Bitch Project.
Yeah.
More like.
But, like, bitch is in the derogatory term instead of, like, because Heather's doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's two men that are doing it.
Yeah, like, they're the bitches.
Yeah.
The Blair Bros. Blair Bros.
Oh. So sounds like they weren't bros though. They were just like those awful, like,
they were
creepy,
awful.
like those like people that you would see, like both of them, like literally both of them. You're watching it and you're like, ugh, you definitely would murder someone. Like, I'm not shocked by this theory that you plan to go murder this girl who doesn't want to sleep with you no more in the woods.
She doesn't want to sleep with him in the woods.
And like the one guy, he kind of looked like he like plays violent video games in his basement, and his mom brings him like pizza rolls and shit.
Are you speaking from experience?
No, I don't do that. My mom doesn't bring me things.
You can't play video games in our basement.
Our basement is like a murder basement. It's like a creepy frat basement, or like a murder basement, or a basement that's not.
Or a basement with cages in it.
Yeah, a basement you don't want to go in.
The cages.
Yeah, there's cages in our basement.
We're not saying we have people in cages, so
don't
look.
Yeah, don't come
take our word for it.
That's silly.
We're not the Blair Witches.
We're not witches. We don't got shit down there.
That. Don't look. But don't look. Don't fucking look. It's all.
Kittens yelling for help
what the fuck?
for the caged people.
Kid, what was that?
She's talking on their behalf.
So there is no witch.
Yeah, ain't no witch.
That's it. It's not real.
Just two dicks murdering people.
Just two dicks. So the theory is that this whole thing, the whole movie, all too long of it, is a murderous plot for these two boys. I'm not going to call them men.
Yeah, they're not men. They're still baby men.
To murder our heroine, Heather.
I don't know if she's a heroine, though. She's kind of really annoying, and you're rooting for her to kind of die at the end. Like, it sucks. I feel bad for her towards the end. I think
in the beginning I was like, she's so pompous, and I didn't like her.
Yeah.
But I think they were really shitty, and I started to feel for her.
Yeah. No, they were definitely, like, mansplaining and all that other shit that men do. Gaslighting her.
Making her feel crazy. But she was right.
Yeah. That part I feel bad for her. But, like, the beginning part, it's like not that anyone can be justified to be murdered. But, but if we're just, talking here. Yeah. We're just saying things.
You could be real with me.
Yeah, so...
We could be real, me, you, the audience.
Yeah, the large internet potential population that...
Our moms
and
would probably still listen.
I don't think my mom has ever listened to this one. So
my mom does. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Gabe's mom.
Hey, Mom. I watched this film theory, and it blew my mind. Because when I watched The Blair Witch the first time, I was, like, a kid. And it was scary in that, like, I was afraid of everything anyway. So it didn't even need... Just the fact that it was labeled a horror movie, I was like, oh my god, I'm scared.
they said it's supposed to be scary.
Yeah, so I am. And then I remember them just being kind of lost in the woods and being like, that sucks. But you know what's even worse is, so the Blair Witch came out, and I had watched it when I was younger, and my family does this, like, every now and again they'll go camping, and they go into Maine, in the middle of the woods, and they go camping. Like, real hardcore, not glamping. There's no toilets, there's no showers, you have a lake, and you have a chair that they cut a hole in so you can have a nice comfy toilet area.
You got a lake where maps can be kicked?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember I went there, I was like 9, and I was like terrified of everything. And my cousins and my uncle always teased me because I was afraid of like the world. And
You're so not that now, though.
No, I know. Yeah. But and there's a reason. There's a story of why I'm not afraid of things anymore. But at the time, I was terrified. And it was around that time, actually, that, like, the world changed for me. But I had watched the Blair Witch Project, which was terrifying in itself, and they're in the woods, and then we're going camping. I was probably still having, like, nightmares. But I remember my uncle and my cousins, someone, did, like, the Blair Witch, like, twigs.
Oh, no.
In the rocks, like, outside. Yeah, to mess with everyone, and I was like, what the fuck? And I, like, didn't even know, because, like, I wasn't even watching that movie. Like, my eyes are closed.
Yeah.
So I knew something was up. Yeah.
Thing.
And for them to freak out and be like, it's here. It's a murderous plot, is the words.
That your uncle was doing with your family.
He murdered me.
Yeah.
And now here I am.
Yeah.
Telling
I knew I saw dead people. I was like, ever since I saw The Sixth Sense, I was like, yep, that's my life.
And we're friends. Has anyone ever saw me besides you?
Yes, many people, but we're all crazy. It's just like this weird Philadelphia ghost scene.
Was me. Even though it was Heather's idea, which would be the biggest hole in that plot theory, and she had like her plan, and it was her idea, it doesn't mean that the boys couldn't go there beforehand.
Yeah,
and
like plan, but with like, like it could have been her plan, but like at the same time, it's not like they hadn't been planning it for a while. So there's like, opportunity has presented itself for murder. Yeah. Excellent. Let's do this.
We'll take it. We'll jump on it. And it's like, in proof of them kind of knowing where they're going, it's like when they're there, it's Heather who's like bringing them everywhere, but they're constantly arguing about where they're going. And I think like she definitely knew where she was going. She has her map. I think she underestimated the time it takes to get to things.
Yeah, it drove me crazy though.
Yeah.
I was just like, just let her know.
Yeah, it's okay. Just trust in her.
It's fine.
But they don't. And even though, like, Mike even says, like, this looks like Greek to me or whatever, he still has, like, a compass, and they're still, like, leading the way a lot of the time. Yeah. So it's like, what are you...
They don't know where they're going, but they're like, let me walk in front of everyone. And they're always together. It's never just like Mike and Heather or Josh and Heather. Yeah. It's like the two boys are walking ahead and she's like always trailing behind them.
And even in the ending, when it's like the map is where all like shit goes crazy, is the map. So Heather always has the map and she knows where she's going most of the time. All the time. And then at some point, Josh demands to see the map because he doesn't believe her because he's a dick. Yeah. Even though she's gotten them this far. Like, she's proven herself. Like, they were at the cemetery. They were at the things that she said. What more do you need?
Men be shitty.
And then she's like, of course we have to go a different way to get back.
We gotta be witches.
Because we're not going to the same... Like, we're not backtracking. We're going in a diagonal. It's the hypotenuse.
You know logic? You know that thing that people have sometimes? Where we use our brains. Yeah. It's crazy.
And it's like, she got you this far, and they freak out, and they're like, this doesn't look familiar, blah, blah, blah. And he demands to see the map, and then... Miraculously, he's the last person that had it, to our knowledge, as viewers, and then the next day it's gone. Yeah. And he's, like, harassing her and, like, verbally assaulting her because he's like, where's the fucking map? And she's like, you were the last one to have it. Yeah. Like, and she has had it this whole time. Where else the fuck could it be? You're in one place. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. So it goes missing, and then they have a plan. And Mike is like, yeah, that's cool, fine. We'll go follow the river or whatever, because this makes sense. And most of the things are along the river, and that's logical. Yeah. But at some point, they just totally, completely decide that that's not how it's going to work. Like, why did they totally switch? And it's like, that switch is what causes them to get closer to that murder house. So there has to be a reason for that. Yeah. Like the witch didn't do that.
Yeah, like they noticed something, or like, oh yeah, this is where we have to turn. Mm-hmm. We've reached that point.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly. And it's, because, like, the witch never steers them in a different direction. And a witch can't change the geography of a forest. It's not going to turn you around. There's never a time when it, like, somehow
a magic forest
manipulates
them.
Witch. Yeah, exactly. So, it's definitely the guys pushing her in that direction.
Yeah. And it's like everything always happens while she's sleeping, and they're like, yeah, it's like, oh my god, if that was happening, I'd be so scared. But then, like, at night is when they're always, like, fucking with shit.
Yeah, and they're like, they sleep fine, which is what guilty people can do, and she has a hard time. And when she finally does get to sleep, that's when shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's when Josh completely gets abducted, supposedly. It's like, he left without her knowing. Like, how, she even says, like, in her diary, so there's, like, a diary that accompanied the film as promotion material. In her diary, she says she sleeps like a log or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when she finally gets to sleep, that's when they fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you have a question of what about the supernatural happenings or whatever?
There aren't any supernatural happenings. There's literally, oh my god, stones in a nice little pile.
That anyone could do.
Yeah, oh my god, a bag of sticks.
Yeah, just
whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just...
Sticks can be balled together in a collective little thing.
It looks like a little person.
That's insane.
Oh.
And, like, I don't know. I'm sure, like, that doesn't have to be a witch that did that. That could have just, like, someone weird was making stick people in the forest, and you knew that was there. Like, they didn't even have to even do that part. It could have just been there.
Yeah, but no, because they go to sleep and it's not there.
Oh, was that what happened? I thought they, like, walked over to it.
No,
and
it's when they wake up, it's
here.
there. Okay. When they first go to the cemetery, that's what it is.
There.
Yes.
I did watch it.
But, like, there's a part where she finds the sack that has, like, the twigs and also has teeth in it and blood, and it's supposedly Josh's.
Yeah.
Well, Mike doesn't see that.
Yeah.
Yet he reacts as if he did the second
night. Yeah, when he hears Josh is screaming, he's like, oh my god, Josh was in so much danger. And it's like, you don't know.
Yeah, like, the first time it happened, he was like, let's not do it.
Yeah.
He was like, they tried barely, and then they were like, no, let's save ourselves. Like, we don't even know if that's him. It could be anything. Yeah. And then the next night, for some reason, without any real, like, trigger for him, he's like, oh, no, let's go now that we've walked a day in a certain direction that I've been bringing us. Also, by the way, me, Mike, I'm the one who kicked the map into the water. Like, something's wrong with you, sir.
Yeah.
That's shady as hell.
And I feel like, I don't know if we even, like, talked about this before, but it's like, it makes sense to me that Josh would be a dick the whole time, and Mike would be kind of nice to kind of earn her trust and kind of act like a scared person. Mm-hmm. So that, like, when he fucking did charge forward, she would be like, oh my god, this is serious, I gotta follow him. Or, like, she, like, trusts him enough not to show him the teeth.
And it's like, well, it's not that she...
Well, she doesn't want him to, like, go through it, too, because he knows he's, like, nice, and he has a lot of, like, anxiety. Like, she eventually starts to care about him.
Yeah. And I think also, it's not even just caring. I think that they really, like, with their gaslighting and their, like, constant berating and arguing and bitching and making her cry.
Yeah.
The whole thing is her crying. And so...
They, like, convince her that it's her fault.
Yeah. So they really, like, it's a psychological game of torture accompanied by that. And then it's like, they get to the murder house, and he seems to have a sense of
like
where everything is.
Yeah.
He announces where he's going. He's like, I'm going upstairs. And then
now I'm going downstairs.
Yeah, after she follows him. But then the next time when he goes downstairs, he just totally fucking ditches her.
Yeah. And
it's supposed to be reminiscent of the guy who, like, brought kids there to murder them, and he was under the influence of the Blair Witch. He was just a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
But he would, like, stand a kid in the corner, and then he would hit the other kid, whatever. But it's like, how do you get a grown man to stand in a corner?
Yeah, that's what honestly convinced me that it was a murder plot. Like, the rest of it, I was like, yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. Like, I would believe that. But, like, in the house is what, like, really was like, yeah, no, that's what happened. Because, for the following reasons.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, Mike goes downstairs, and he doesn't get hit. Like, there's no fucking way. You'd hear a impact, you'd hear him yell, you'd hear something.
Movement,
there would be a fucking reaction to the being hit. He has the sound thing.
He has the boom.
He is the sound guy, and he has it with him. You can hear her fucking screaming from upstairs after this has already happened. But there's, like, a period of time where there should definitely be, like, him making noise, a conversation, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, someone's hitting him, something's happening to him.
Yeah.
There's no noise. And then she comes downstairs, and he's just standing in the corner. And I'm just like, that is a distraction. They want her to see him first to be like, yo, what's up? Why are you over there in the corner? That's weird. And he's not responding to her, and so that the other person, Josh, can fucking sneak up behind her. And that totally, like, sold it for me. I was like, yes, that's what happened. It was a murder plot. There's no witch.
And she's, like, screaming bloody murder.
Yeah.
And it's, like, such a weird, absurd thing for a witch to be doing.
Yeah.
And witches aren't like, let me kill people. Like, that's not what witches do.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, it definitely seemed like a really unlucky plot for Heather.
Yeah.
And just, like, worked out for them.
Also, Mike is super loud throughout the whole movie. All he does is fucking scream in the woods. He's just walking around going, ah!
Yeah.
And screaming. So, like, fuck, which he would not be quiet if someone snuck up behind him and was like, yo, go stand in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm a stranger. Go do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna hit you or something. He would be fucking
how is he
screaming
over
and
there?
crying bloody murder. No way in hell he'd be quiet. So I'm, like, sold that they were trying to murder her. I was like, that's real. That's the whole thing. No witches here.
Yes.
Just
And then it's like, it's also great that the filming of it was cool because, like, when the actors went in to interview the townsfolk, like, they didn't even know that those townfolks were actors.
Yeah.
They thought that it was, like, real, and so they were telling the story of the Blair Witch, and they were like, what? Oh my god. And then they get in the woods, and the film team slowly fed them, like, less and less. So all that arguing is, like, pretty real. Like,
yeah, they were actually irritable, even though, like,
yeah.
you know, they knew they were in a movie.
But I think the plot was really loose, too. So it was just, like, them reacting to what's given to them.
Yeah.
It was great.
There's no script? Is that real?
No, I think there's a script. I just think it was, like, kind of...
Like, loose.
Yeah. It was
like,
more
freak out
improvisation.
here.
Yeah.
Yell at each other.
But and then I think a lot of it, they probably just filmed them actually arguing all the time.
Yeah.
About, like, just being lost and shit.
Well.
So I think the film theory actually made it a little better to watch it.
It was a better movie for that. Like, I remember watching it when I was younger, and I was like, this is dumb. She is really leaky as a human. It's very gross. I don't like
really
germs.
gross. Yeah.
For me.
She's all
You
that.
have a
She's
tongue.
every
Get
orifice.
that away from me.
Yeah, it was more interesting because I was looking for, like, signs.
Yeah.
That was it.
They
And
were
if it
trying to
wasn't the intention, I think that the director should just say that it was.
Yeah.
I think they should lie. Because it doesn't really make sense otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the witch? The witch, like, what? The witch must be, like, really picky about who she's murdering. Because if these people were murdered, somehow a group of people got into the forest to get those tapes.
Yeah.
And bring them back, and they weren't murdered.
They're like, yeah, that's fine. You can get that.
Yeah,
I'll
what
let
about
you-
those
I'll
guys
let you
who are always
visit.
fishing? The guys are always fishing out there. Like, what? This witch is just like, I just don't like these people.
I'm like teenager.
I've been asleep for years, and all of a sudden I'm around. Like, also, witches aren't like.
Yeah, people
forever.
are fishing in there all the time, and then they're just like, oh no, it's just these teenagers. I'm just gonna murder them.
And then there was like that. What I did, you know, what really made me mad was the beginning when she's interviewing the one lady who's like, "Yeah, I believe in a witch, and she did this and that," and she like totally just disregards her. And it's like, what are you here for?
lady?
Yeah, like, what are you here for if not to hear about people's crazy witch stories? Like, you disregard her. You're a terrible interviewer. Like, you don't even have good questions for her, and you do the yeah, in the middle, which is also not a good thing to be doing because you can't use that sound. And yeah, she just like totally like dismisses her, and it's just like, well, that lady was a fucking kook. It's like, you're a kook. You're going to investigate a witch.
Yeah, and you're not going to listen to the person that's telling you about the witch.
Yeah, the one person who's like, yes, it was real. I saw it with my own eyes. And you're like, she's crazy. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? What is your motivation to get murdered? I'm glad she's murdered now. Back at it.
You went from feeling bad to being excited
fuck
about it, from feeling bad
fuck
to
that
back to
bitch.
this now.
also watched the VVitch.
The Witch.
The Witch. With the old... And we watched that video that was like, they didn't use 2 V's in the 17th century. They stopped in the 16th century.
Oh my god. So, I did not like the movie.
The Witch.
I just thought it wasn't scary, and I thought it was dumb. And everything
Tell
that
us how
happened
you
was
really
weird.
feel.
I just didn't like it. I was just like, alright, fuck these fucking creepy-ass murder twins. 2. Thomason, you're too good for this family.
She was way too good for that family.
3.
Also Caleb.
Bring Caleb back.
Spoilers.
Don't murder him with your evil boobs.
Yeah, your evil boobs and kids should not die via orgasms.
Yeah, no, that was weird too. It was just like, what is happening in this movie? Like, I don't know. I don't think it should be called a horror movie. It should just be like something that's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable
It's
movie.
uncomfortable to watch all the way through.
Yeah.
But like, there's no point where I was like, oh, I'm scared. This is a scary part. I was waiting the whole way through. I was like, everyone's told me that this movie is like really uncomfortable, like really scary, and it kind of like fucks with you. And I was just like, am I just desensitized to the point where nothing bothers me, or like, is this movie stupid? And I'm gonna go with it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Well, I mean, I think it's not so much scary as it is just, like you said, uncomfortable, in that I feel like the whole time with like how quiet yet loud it was. Like, all the sounds are very loud, but everyone talks very quiet. Yeah. And just, like, the scenes and, like, the feelings all just kind of felt like you were watching something you shouldn't be.
Yeah. I bet in theaters would be better. I think, like, seeing it on our TV, though.
Your shitty TV.
Or I was just like, this is fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, in the theaters it was really good because all the sounds were very jarring, and you have just, like, that... It's scary. It's coming at you. But like it always felt like you were like spying and eavesdropping on this like shitty family. Yeah. And that's what was uncomfortable. And then it was like, for me, it was stressful in that it was like, it really felt like the forces of the film were really trying to make it bad for Thomason. Mm-hmm. Like, they were setting her up for failure every time. Like, with Samuel going missing the first time, which is the baby, and then, like, having Caleb go missing the second time, and, like, her finding him, like, every single thing.
Well, they were obviously trying to ruin her life so that she'd be like, yeah, I could be a witch, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, fuck else do I have to lose?
Yeah, it was definitely intended to get Thomason. I think that was the whole plot, was that Black Phillip created all this stuff to get her to be one of his little witch bitches.
But then also they're like, and like they paint it like, oh, if you're a witch, you can do all these really great things. Like, sure, you're selling your soul or whatever, but like, you get to go see the world. And la-da-da-da-da. Then why does this witch in the forest have to murder babies to look young again? And why does she have to eat goats and shit?
Yeah, she, like, they don't really
Is that your, like,
seem to be doing
initiation?
anything fun.
Yeah, like, it doesn't sound fun at all. Everything they're doing look really uncomfortable and, like, sad.
Yeah, they just cosplay as animals. Mm-hmm. And terrorize families in the woods.
Yeah, like, murder people a bunch. Like, it doesn't look like any of that's like, oh, let's wear pretty dresses and shit, like the guy was saying. Like, sure, let's go dance naked in the woods, but we also gotta murder babies to look this way.
Yeah. And it's a small price to pay. It's not your baby.
It's a big price to pay.
What is one baby?
It's a lot of stuff that
years.
you gotta, like, live with for the rest of your life. Like,
I think you've already fucked. I mean, Thomason, I don't think
was like
much is gonna be a problem for her anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
she watched her dad die via the goat horn, and then, like, murdered her own mom.
Her mom was a psycho bitch.
Her mom was a psycho bitch. But I also feel like the whole thing was the dad's fault. The reason they're in the New World, the reason that everyone gets blamed for everything.
Well, see, I liked him, Thomason, and Caleb, and everyone else in the movie was terrible.
Yeah, but the dad is a piece of shit. Like, Caleb gets in trouble
he was
for being
living
in the
for
woods
the times.
and lying.
He was living in the times.
Yeah, but he could have been a dad. Like, he could have been mature, but he's, like, terrified of his wife or some shit.
Well, because she was crazy.
Yeah, but he lets yeah, she's crazy. Protect her kids from the crazy lady.
Yeah.
He, like, lets both of his kids take the rap for shit he did. And then, like, when the mom is like, oh, you're crazy, or she's a witch, he's like, no. He doesn't really try, and then he's like, maybe.
Well, maybe she's a witch. Let's look at the logic here. Yeah. Our demon children have passed out after having seizures and yelling Satan words.
No, I'm gonna go to sleep for a long time.
He
Through
does.
the screaming of my children and my wife getting her tit just eaten off by a crow, and he sleeps through that.
Yeah. It was very weird.
Right. Right.
That was a weird fucking movie.
It was.
Yeah.
I was just really, really sad when Caleb found the witch and she comes out and her boobs are just all prominent out there. Because it was like, you already saw him, like, checking out his sister's tits, because what else is he going to look at?
Yeah.
And you know that he's this prepubescent boy trying to learn.
Trying to figure it all out.
As soon as that witch came out.
Advantage.
Yeah, as soon as that witch came out, I was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, no, that was really sad. I feel bad for the actor. For, like, it's this little boy who had to, like, hardcore make out with this lady. It was definitely his first fucking kiss.
And it was, like, intense.
And it was, like, intense and, like, scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's never gonna want to kiss someone again. And he's, like, cute, so that sucks. When he gets older, he's gonna be, like, a little babe man.
I think he's gonna be okay.
He's gonna be super cute when he's older, and then he's not gonna want to kiss anybody because they traumatized him with this not very good movie.
It was just, like, an art film.
Yeah. I mean, he was great in it. He should get all the acting roles. I am vouching for him. He was a great actor. Like, everyone was a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the fact the movie was stupid.
Yeah. It didn't seem to really have a great point.
Yeah. All of them did a great job.
A lot of things home.
Yeah.
Those kids sucked. What happened to the twins?
The murder twins?
Yeah, murder twins.
Who were like, Black Phillip, we murder our family.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't do anything. So, was he using them?
No, yeah, they, like, talk to the goat. They talk to the goat.
Yeah, but then
and
nothing
then the goat's,
happened.
like, telling them that the sister's a witch. Yeah. So that, like... And I'm sure they were, like, doing stuff, like, little things. Like, they were earning their...
I think it would be better if we saw that.
Spot. Well, they were always talking to him. They were talking to the goat and, like, singing about the goat.
But to what purpose?
To, like, spread the paranoia?
No, because no one really... Everyone just missed them. I think it would have been cool... And I get, because they were trying to, like, hide, like, is there a witch? Is Black Phillip the devil, or is it just crazy talk?
Yeah.
And paranoia. So that's why they wouldn't have it overtly, but I think it would be kind of cool if, like, at the end we saw, like, that the whole time it was, like, kids fucking it up.
I mean,
like, if the twins took the baby or something and gave the baby to a witch.
Dude, I'm sure that that's real. I'm sure they possessed, like, them or something when they did things. Like, they had to have, like, contributed to the being the fucked up times.
But then they just disappeared.
I thought they were murdered. That wasn't what happened?
Well, you never see them. You see everyone else who's murdered get murdered.
Yeah, because there was, like, the witch that was eating the goats, and then you hear them scream. And that was it.
But, what happened to them? And why murder them? Why not use them? Why not use mercy?
Yeah, I don't think, they needed to murder them. I don't even know if they did murder them. I'm sure maybe they're just, like, using them for the future.
Yeah, but where?
Well, maybe there will be a second VVitch.
Yeah. VVitch.
VVitch 2.
VVitches be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the Old English was dope.
You know, the actors were great.
As they do. Every demon babies. Yeah. Okay.
So jelly on our bodies, and that makes it very good.
Pomegranate juice.
All over our bodies.
Now we're useful.
We look pretty. Tell us we look pretty.
Like, tell me about your skincare routine.
I murdered children, and then I just wiped the blood all over my body, and now I look young forever.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to give that a try.
Yeah. You know, I got some, like, babies in the back.
So witches get stitches. Or Yaaassss Witch.
We're the creepy twins. Look at us go.
Yes.
Singing songs about murder and goats.
Phillip is my dad.
He tells me what to do when I go around murdering.
That's exactly what they sung.
That's the whole song. We stole the map. It was us. We kicked it in the river. We gave it to Phillip.
Remember when Thomason had to take her dad's clothes off?
Yeah, that was so weird.
That was a situation.
She was
Why couldn't he take his own clothes off?
He could take his own clothes off. It was really weird. I think the movie was just meant to be really uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, I think we were just supposed to accept it because it's, like, not every day and it's based in a time. So I think we were just supposed to accept it as reality and not question it. But it was like, I don't know if that was a thing because of purity and all that. Like, they wouldn't let girls touch you.
Well, they did a lot of things in that movie that I think were just, like, very much trying to upset people. So for one, they had she's not actually underage in real life, or they wouldn't have shown her butt and, like, the rest of it. But, like, showing a, technically in the movie, underage child walking around naked and dancing in the forest.
Yeah, well, Caleb was also naked all the time.
They murdered a baby in, like, the first 5 minutes and watched as a lady covered herself in his blood. Mm-hmm. They murdered a dog.
Yeah.
Also a big Hollywood no-no.
Yeah.
But, like, brutally. You saw it's, like, guts. They did all the societal no-nos.
Yes.
Murdered babies. Used the blood to do stuff.
Babies' butts.
Had a children getting made out with by an adult person.
Yep.
Had him orgasm to death.
Yep.
Had the daughter inappropriately touch her father.
Yeah,
but yeah, the movie does a bunch of fucked up things.
Yes.
That, like, generally you shouldn't do in movies if you don't want to upset people. Which is probably why people were, like, obsessed with it. Because they're like, this movie, like, it does all the things I'm not supposed to know about or see.
So, overall, just the theme of witches. It doesn't have to be the specific movies. Although, if we're going with the movie representations that we've watched, witches don't do anything.
Yeah, witches get fucking
What are they even there for? Nothing. They're nothing.
Yeah.
But if you go, like, witches and even in, like, the witch hunts, it's like, what were they doing then, too?
They don't do a good job representing what witches are.
Yeah, but even, like, Salem witches, like, a lot of those girls, it was like...
They weren't even witches.
What are they doing? They're just talking out of turn. They're fucking people's husbands. Yeah.
They but that's not what witches do. Now we kill them.
Like, that's even good. Like, no one's selling their soul to the devil if all they get to do is do what they could do by themselves.
Yeah.
What is Satan just a pseudonym for confidence? Yeah. And not giving a fuck what other people think?
Honestly, that's probably what the whole plan was.
So, I mean, as far as that goes, I think, you know, witches get stitches.
Yeah, that was terrible.
But, like, Yaaassss Witch to the girls who were like, fuck you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go dance naked in the woods, fuck you. Yeah, Yaaassss Witch to them.
Yeah.
But also, sorry, RRP. for being drowned.
Yeah. Also, Yaaassss Witch to, like, people who, like, do good with their witch powers. Mm-hmm. If they're, like, out there doing stuff, and they're, like, making it happen.
If they're cursing Trump.
They're doing things.
Yaaassss Witch.
Yeah, they're making moves.
Curse him.
They're making moves. Yes. We're over here, like, what are we living, doing? But we don't do magic spells.
Yeah, but in colonial times, we would definitely be witches.
We'd be super witches, and we'd be super dead.
Yeah. So, Yaaassss Witch to us.
Yeah, for
at least on the foundation.
When we go back in time and we actually
I'm not going to do that. I am brown.
Oh, that's very
I'm not allowed to go back in time.
I am very ill, so I couldn't go either. I would die immediately.
Both of us are banned from time travel in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the future is going to be like.
There's no inhalers back then. I would just be dead.
There's no inhalers.
And you have it way worse, but, like, I'm just saying, we both, like, not be happy.
You die of natural causes. I would die by being brown.
Yeah, I would die real quick, though, so I wouldn't, like, suffer too much. You'd have it worse. You'd probably just have, like, bad things happen to you.
Or who knows what.
Yeah, just bad things. So don't get married.
Like kids.
Witches will steal your children and use their blood for your youth serums. That's really long.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. But, yeah, as we usually say. Don't get married. Delete your kids. Bye.
Bye.